how did we get here? To November 2025, that is. I'm here to break down the market update for you in the Sarasota and the greater area. Lots of buyer questions, lots of seller questions. What is pricing doing? We've got this 50-year mortgage that's popped up here as an option. Lots to talk about in today's video. I'm going to go over the end of November market update. So I'm over here at a listing on Weber Street, Sarasota. This is a brand new build. And, we actually sat in the kitchen for a while talking about the market. Every buyer and every seller wants to discuss the market, especially if you are in it. And one of the topics was days on market. So this one's, I think, right around 93 days on the market. We started at 1.399. We're currently at 1.299 as of the date of this filming, the day before Thanksgiving 2025. So 93 days in a normal market is not a long time. 6 months or thereabouts is what we call an equilibrium market. So like every month, I have the true stats printed. And remember, this is for Sarasota County single family homes because historically it's just more of a way to gauge the true market. Condos, townhomes, and villas tend to be more volatile over time. And so we look at single family homes. Okay. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you're not new to the channel, welcome back. And don't forget to subscribe, please, if you like the content. I love that. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And I love your comments too. Anyway, let's dive in. So inventory, it's the place where I like to start because it gives you an exact or almost exact picture of how healthy the market is. We're at 5 months of inventory in Sarasota for single family homes. That's pretty healthy. And I know that some sellers just feel like, a little frustrated, or they think like, are we priced well? Or they get antsy and say, well, are the photos okay? Maybe we should hire a different photographer, maybe change the wording around or change the current, existing photos around and things like that. Those are all things that we do. And I think it's taking a little bit more patience, both from the sellers and the agents educating the sellers, right? One of the things I do as a listing agent is if I don't already have a specific neighborhood search for my seller, I save one. And in that save search, I email myself automatically any new homes on the market, any new pendings, any that have sold and what the prices were. And it gives the seller something to look at that is really hyper focused to their property. And what we're seeing is higher days on the market. And yes, there are outlier properties that do sell fairly quickly, but a 5 to 6 month level of inventory is very normal and healthy. And so if a seller goes into listing a new home with the expectation that it's going to sell in 30 to 45 days or 60 or maybe 90, and they're starting to get antsy about it after 4 or 5 months, it just takes a little bit of, communication, patience with your realtor, patience, understanding that as a realtor, this is how we get paid. So we want this to sell. It's not for lack of wanting to sell a property because we get paid on just commission only, right? And so a little patience goes a really long way when working with your realtor. And we want to get paid and close too. So everybody's happy when we close, and the market is always going to tell the truth. So sometimes price reductions are going to be required. The market speaks. And the way the market speaks is, are you getting phone calls? Are you getting showings? Have you had offers? What are people saying in the market? Like, what does the property need? I mean, in this case, I come here early and I sweep and I make sure that things are not out here. Leaves are coming. Make sure the inside's swept, make sure, I've got the eyes on the properties, and I accompany these showings so I can be here to answer questions and things like that, controlling the controllables. And outside of that, feedback from the buyers is really important. What can we control from that feedback, and what can we learn from that to help facilitate selling it? After all, we are here to facilitate a sale. And as an agent, since 2002, 2025 now, since 2002, I'm not going to stand in the way of a buyer wanting to buy, likewise a seller wanting to sell. Like I'm an advisor, and if you want to sell it for less than what I think you should, then I'm not going to stand in the way. Likewise, if it's too high, I'm going to tell you that. So again, as your advisor, I'm going to tell you the things that I know. I say this not in every video, I say this a lot. What you need to hear, not always what you may want to hear, but what I have to say is sometimes, maybe you're already thinking it. And it's a lot of times the case with my clients. So back to the stats here. Closed sales are up year over year by almost 30%. Awesome. Paid in cash is up 32.4%. I do think too, Sarasota in general, the Sarasota Southwest, of Florida specifically, it is a large snowbird population. And so we do see larger cash transactions. Listen, who doesn't love cash? Because it's just one less contingency to worry about. So we do see quite a bit of that. And it's nice to see cash coming back. Median sales price is down. Seeing that correction come through here. And remember, beginning of the year, we had a lot more inventory. I think it was closer to 6-7 months. It's nice to see it down to 5 months, which has helped offset some of the prices. The people that were priced high have either lowered or come off the market or sold. And the remaining properties here, the sellers are becoming more and more realistic, listening to the agents, listening to the market. It's not your agent saying, it's the market, right? The market is telling us what we need to know. Do we need to lower the price or whatever? Average sale price is less indicative of the market. I feel like it's an unfair number to look at $639 on average compared to $445 median, because you have some huge outlier, big properties that kind of intertwine into the average. So 445 median versus this time last year was 490. So we're seeing a little bit of an adjustment. Okay. Another indication of the market is like, what can I expect when I list it to versus what I'm selling? And right now it's at 92.4%. So in general, and this is not going to be for everybody, right? This is just an average. If I list it for 500, expect to sell it for around 92.4%. As compared to this time last year, they were selling closer to listing price at 94%. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how the rest of the year pans out. It'll probably be a little bit of the same. 2025 is just in general, it's been a challenging year, especially the first half of the year. I think going back to the playlist, you can take a look at some of the earlier the market videos that I did in the year. But we have had tariffs, we've had a new president, we have had high interest rates. And speaking of the interest rates as well, I know some people are waiting for the interest rates to drop before they enter into the market as a buyer. And I would caution you that maybe the rates are just going to stabilize at 6%, right? And they're not going to go below that. Negotiate the price. You're going to be paying taxes and whatever insurance and mortgage on the purchase price. So negotiate that down, okay? Because if the rates do go down, you're going to have all these buyers that were on the fence now as competitors. So it's like, it's still this great time to buy. You can still ask the seller to buy down your interest rate if that's a factor as well, to make it more affordable. We do have the 50-year loans. Like, I don't know that I would necessarily be overjoyed and jump into that. I did a whole video about that as well. At the end of the day, real estate is very hyper local, and I think you need an agent that understands the neighborhoods, understands the streets, and where the house is in relation to all the things that you need, groceries, downtown, the airport, the interstate. It's hyper local. So getting with an agent, whether you're thinking of selling or purchasing, is important that they know this market very, very well. They can rattle off stats. They don't need this. They can explain to you where you're at with pricing, where we need to be, and how we need to get that highest and best price for you as a seller. If you have a question about the value of your home, of course, always call me. I work a really pretty large area. Anna Maria, Longboat Key, Siesta Key, Casey Key, Minnesota Key. That's a really wide area. It spans from Manatee, Sarasota to Charlotte County. I've got some great listings coming up. Stay tuned. If you're on my e-news, you'll get those. If you want to be on my e-news, text me or email me, 941-544-7690. And I think this goes without saying, hopefully you have a great Thanksgiving. I think we're going to post this the day of Thanksgiving. You're probably with your families eating and getting full, which is where you should be at and doing. But happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Be safe on the roads. It's not the time to drink and drive. No excuses, no DUIs, guys. So anyway, happy holidays. Thank you for watching now and all year. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Thank you. I am your girl for Sarasota. Call me.